Um,
Okay.
I have to, I have to leave at like 9:45.
Okay, just
That could
before
be a
you leave.
problem. I'll just switch it back to you.
Yeah, that'll be plenty. That way, when everyone's hopping on here in the next few minutes,
Yep.
we don't have to keep pausing. So I'm going to hand that over to you now.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're
Swing.
welcome.
I almost said your last name first. Sandra Swasina, ladies and gentlemen. All right, there we go.
Sorry, like I'm getting ready, so that's why I'm not on
You're
camera. You
fine.
don't
Don't
want to see me curling my hair.
You're okay. I just figured if we could lighten the load, and I appreciate you. So thank you. Good morning, you guys. Good morning. We're dropping in the comments something we're grateful for. I'd love to see. I'm seeing some rain, a warm house, friends. Mark, I can only make one co-host, but thank you for offering because now I know that in the future. Ken, family, yes, definitely. This morning we did our I am, I can, I will, I must with the kids. And so we have 4 kids at home yet. One's already moved out and left the coop. But so each of them get to take one if we're in a hurry. Sometimes we'll have on the board where we're like, I am, and everyone puts something, and I can, and everyone puts something. And then we like to read them out loud and get excited before they leave, at 7:20 in the morning. And so sometimes we run out of time. And so each kid gets to pick, an I am. And then the next we'll do I can. And one of the things that my children put up on the board today, it was I must overcome. And I was like, wow, these just keep getting better and better and better. They used to be like, I must finish my chores. It used to be really practical things for them. And now, after doing this for, a couple months with them, it's turned into something that's so much more than that. And I can see that it's really impacted them. It really starts their day off to a good start. So if you haven't done that, Carrie talks about it a lot. I am, I can, I will, I must. And it's just a great way to start the day. And then, of course, we are grateful for being here and for breath and for life and all of the things. So good morning, good afternoon, all of you from all over the world right now. I'm so excited to see so many faces on here, some new faces, some new names, some returning names, and those of you that show up every single Tuesday and Thursday. And I truly, truly appreciate you. Miracle Moments is all about taking opportunities and moments, pun intended, but taking that moment to really we can do things, we can work together, we can grow from it. And our goal here with Miracle Moments is to always give you something that you can utilize when you leave, an actionable item, and to help you in the course of your business, right? And so today we're going to talk about improving communication skills, and more so specific to what we're doing, network marketing, what we're doing here at Super Patch. And so before we get started, I'd love if you guys would go into the comments and comment one way you show you're listening. What's one way you show you're listening? Good morning. I see you all piling on here. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hello. Hello. I'm looking into the comments. What's one way you say or you show you're listening? Eye contact. Look at the person. Yes, eye contact, look at the person, make sure they know, hey, I'm hearing you. You have my attention. Clarifying questions. Yes, these are good. Eye contact, put my cell phone in my pocket. Yes. Oh, these are so good, you guys. These are so good. Beautiful. Okay. So today we're going to talk about communicating, some communication skills, and then we're going to, I like that one. I'm going to say it, ask questions and repeat back what you heard. Yeah, definitely. Reiterating what they're saying and making them feel heard is so important. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry. Okay. I'm seeing all the faces. I'm just so happy to see you. Okay. So after we go through some like lesson plan stuff, as far as like what's communication, how are some ways you can show communication, active listening, so on and so forth. We're going to talk about that. I'm then going to flip it to how do we communicate in Messenger about our business, and how do we communicate during the demo? That came out funny, the demo, and transitioning that and communicating to them that I'm not just here to make a TikTok video. I'm here to show you a technology and hopefully get you to, decide to purchase or sign up with me. So I think that gets lost in communication quite often. And that's something that I thought we could talk about today. And hopefully one of those two things or both will lead you to an actionable step today and help you to build your business. So if we have any questions, throw them in the comments. Sandra, if you see any questions that are like pertinent, they should be answered right now. Just unmute, please, and ask. I'm not going to pay attention to the questions. You guys know ADHD, I'm going to go all over the place if I do. So we're just going to focus on my notes and what I have to share with you. And again, I'm just so grateful that you're here and eager to learn. So how do I improve my communication skills, right? So whether you're presenting the technology or building relationships with other people, your team members, your ability to communicate, connect with others and convey your ability to communicate, connect with others and convey a message that's very clear is crucial. And it's crucial in what we do. So by improving your communication skills, you're going to enhance your influence, you're going to foster trust, you're going to achieve your goals, right? And during that process, you're going to help the people that you're communicating with achieve their goals. Okay. That's what communication's about. That's what we do here. We're problem solvers. And so let's explore some strategies and hopefully some valuable tips to help you improve those skills as you move forward, right? So the goal is truly in this to like empower you, to help you effectively communicate your message and to engage with the proper audience and engage properly with your audience. Like that's super important. Who you're speaking to, the way you communicate is going to fluctuate. And you guys, we know this, right? Like the way we communicate with different people fluctuates person to person to person to situation and so on and so forth. And so these few things that we're going to list off, or that I'm going to list off, you'll probably be like, yeah, I do that. But hopefully you'll pick some things in there that says, oh, wait, I could add that, or I could do a little less of that and move forward. So let's talk about some techniques. Active listening. This is the key to understanding, right? The key to understanding. And active listening is really the foundation of effective communication. Okay. It involves you giving your full attention to the speaker, to the person talking, right? Showing genuine interest and seeking to understand their perspective, their point of view on life, where they're coming from, what their goals are, so on and so forth. Okay. If you've got someone really closed up and bottled, you probably don't approach them with like, pizzazz, I'm here to show you a super patch. You're probably like, hi, can I show you something? Your approach is a little different. And so practicing active listening by maintaining eye contact, nodding. I do a lot of this. Like if you guys ever watch me when I'm not presenting on a Zoom, I'm like the whole time. And it almost becomes like common, like thing that I do or practice because I want them to know I see you, I hear you, I'm focusing, I'm listening. And even if I'm taking notes, like I hear you, and then of course, responding appropriately, it's not enough to be like, and it's just going out of the ear. You got to be listening and hearing what they're sharing with you, And so by truly listening, you gain valuable insights on their needs, on their desires, on the concerns of what they have, their personal concerns. And then it allows you to tailor fit, like, and I know this sounds silly, but it really allows you to tailor fit your communication to their specific needs, right? And so again, you're listening to them, they're talking, they're sharing some information, they're saying, hey, I've had a really hard day. My knees hurt. I'm on my feet for 10 hours a day. I have 7 grandkids. I run a church. I do these things. And you're hearing all of these things. And those are key points that you should be grabbing and then thinking in your brain, how do I utilize this to effectively communicate what I'm doing here to align with what they need and what they're doing over there, right? The next one I would say is clarity, clarity, clarity. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. When it comes to what we do here, clear and concise communication is essential, okay? Avoid like the mumbo jumbo jargons, the complex terms, the unnecessary details that truly just like confuse people, right? Jay said it last night. He said, Just state, I'm not an expert. Keep it super simple. Let the facts do the work. Let the video, the 6 minute, 5.5 minute, let the video do the work for you. Like, let the packaging say what it needs to say. Let the studies prove that. It's not our job to reinvent the wheel and to try to sound as if we've created the patch. In fact, we're just happy to be people that use it, that technology, and share it. And that's our job. Just like we kind of talked about the other day, our job is really just truly to share the message to the people. The difference, or not the difference, excuse me, the important key to remember is simplicity is key. We need to be clear about our intentions. We need to be clear and uniform about what we do here and what our technology does, and being able to utilize what they've already created for us. And then, of course, what leadership puts out and what we pour into Miracle Workers and all of those things. We should always be aligned in what we're saying, or not aligned, excuse me, but aligned in what we're saying. It should feel aligned with you as well, though. You should craft a message that's simple and personable and expresses who you are and your passion and your intentions on what we're doing. And clarity and conciseness will help you captivate an audience and convey your message effectively. So really taking a moment to say, okay, I know Jay says it this way, and then practicing it, right? Like saying it in a way where it's I say in layman terms, so it's simpler to state, because I don't say I have a vibral tactile technology that has been proven and science, because I'm not a scientist. And once I set myself up for that, then they're like, oh, science, mumbo jumbo, science. And I'm like, I don't have the answer for you, because I'm just a happy customer and I just want you to be happy too, And so really me being able to say things while I'm communicating with them right away allows me to be clear about where I stand with, the evolution of the technology and what my goal is, right? And my goal is to distribute that. My goal is to help people get, other people to know about the technology and build my team and my customer base and help them and so on and so forth. My goal is not to create another patch, because I don't know the first step. Okay. I don't know the first step, right? So the next one I would say is developing effective presentation skills. Okay, so this goes right into what we were just talking about. Presentations are a vital part of, any business, especially in network marketing. And whether or not you're in like just a small group, one-on-one, or a large group setting, it's super important that your message is clear and the presentation is fluid, right? And not saying it has to be perfect. There's a difference between the two, right? Fluid meaning it just rolls off your tongue and it feels natural. Perfect meaning you're stressing the heck out trying to make sure you know all the scientific facts, right? And in fact, most of us here don't. Now, there are a few of us here that are super, super smart, and I appreciate your knowledge and your dive in. And if that's aligned with whom you are, then of course, go and stay aligned with what corporate is stating and what science is stating and so on and so forth. But most of us here are just happy customers that just want people to be as excited as we are and experience what we have, right? So enhancing your presentation skills by maybe organizing, the content you share, or organizing, writing down and practicing your 3-minute pitch, your elevator pitch, right? Like right now, what I'm going to say about this technology, if someone asks me in an Uber, how do I get across to them in the first like 3 minutes and get them excited versus like turn around and not talk to me for the rest of the ride, and being concise and being clear and actively listening to them and making it a conversation is key, So again, practice delivering your message with confidence, shoulders back, chest up. I know what I'm doing here, right? And that's not to confuse it with I'm a genius and I know all the answers, but rather I'm confident in what I'm doing here, right? Okay. And so practice delivering that message, use body language, vocal tones, visual aids, all the things that you can use. And some of those things we already have at our disposal. It's really easy to keep it simple here. Okay. One of the things that we have is that John Brankus video. It's gold, you guys. It's gold. Okay. There are leaders from other industries that have been in this industry, this lifestyle for years and years and years, right? Decades, that are deciding to come and join what we have here because of that video, because of what they're seeing. It's clean, it's precise, it's to the point, it shares. everything we try to say in 20 minutes, it does it in 6. Right. So make sure you're utilizing those tools and then engage with people through storytelling and really get good at storytelling. Interactive things like, again, like go and check this out, try this patch, the demonstration, the demo itself with that patch is getting them interacted or sorry, it's interacting them with what we have, the technology. Okay. And then of course, effective skills will captivate your audience, leaving a lasting impression is something I put down. What I really mean by that is like, when you get to a point where you can captivate people by storytelling, by sharing your experience with your excitement, once you get to that point, people are going to be left with that impression. They're going to be like, wow, it's not that she knew her stuff or he knew his stuff, right? They're looking at like, whoa, she is passionate. He really got me connected with where I needed to be right away. They were really listening to me. Those things are going to make a big difference in the long run. And I'll touch base on storytelling here in a couple minutes as well. I just want to kind of go through our little list here of the key points that I put, and then we'll do a little bit more of interaction here. So adapting to different communication styles. Did you guys hear that? Adapting to different communication styles. People communicate differently. There are some people that will watch like this and they're totally into it, but you don't know because their face is not showing it. And you have to be willing to push through what you're doing, right? And be confident in getting through it, because by the time you're done, they're like, that sounds great, but it's just, they're soaking it all in for you. And it's really a skill to learn when it comes to communication, because it's not enough to just hear what they're saying. It's not enough to just see their face. Like, body language is huge, so if they're sitting here like, like, okay, I got to do something to get them involved here. And a lot of times that's just like, let me show you how the technology works. Actually, I see you sitting over there with your shoulder like this, Jim. Let me show you how the technology works real quick, and get them involved, get them talking, get them feeling about themselves. So I know I just got off a little bit there, but like, if you have someone that's closed up, the key is to just crack into their little circle. You just got to pop the bubble a little bit and let them put an arm in or something, and just say, hey, I want to make you feel comfortable. If someone's like this, they're uncomfortable, they're not sure, they're worried, they're confused, all the things, right? And getting them to kind of relax and open up is key. And that's, I love relationship building. So I try to do a little bit of relationship building before I ever have a conversation with someone. If someone brings me on a 3-way call, before I get onto that call, they're giving me a 30-second, hey, this is Mrs. So-and-so. She does this. She struggles with this. She loves this, so on and so forth. So when I get on that call, I can customize how I'm going to communicate through that and tell them specific testimonies, not make up stories, right? We have so many testimonies. So at that point, I'm just like my Rolodex of testimonies, and I'm like, oh, school teacher, here we go. This is the testimony I'm sharing today, because me not using my walker may not be as big of an impact to that person as me saying, hey, my second grader no longer struggles with being so overstimulated in school that she can participate again. So it's important that you're communicating. It's not just to the person you're presenting to, but to your team as well. And if you're getting on leadership calls and 3-way calls to help you, make sure you have like, hey, I've already told her about this. She already knows about that. He asked questions here. Can you just help fill in the blanks? And then that way your 3-way calls as effective as it possibly can be and as quick as it can be, right? Because the goal is not for me to sit on the phone for 15 minutes with you, but the goal is truly so that I can make enough of an impact so that you can continue to build the relationship you're building with them. Okay. So people communicate differently, and adapting to them is, like I said, it's crucial. Observe and understand what their preferred like communication is, right? Like not language. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to talk to someone in full English if all they speak is German, right? Then I get Melly on the phone. But but really, pay attention to how they communicate. If they're not all peppy and ready to go, you better take it back a few notches, because you're going to lose them pretty quick if you come with all this energy. And if there's someone that's, a little bit more I'll just say proper, right? The word's not coming to my mind, but more of a proper, you're going to address them in a different way. Just like if you were doing a business presentation versus finding someone on the street and doing a demonstration for them, you're going to respond appropriately, right? So just approach it in the way that, you're observing. And some people might be more direct. Some people might be like, get to the point. I'll tell you what, we went to Cabo. I went to Cabo for vacation, y'all. I earned that trip. And my mother decided she's going to go and sit through a 3-hour timeshare demonstration, which I'm grateful for. The Lord blessed her to be able to do that. And I'm a beneficiary, so I'm going on vacation soon. But I'll tell you what, having been in sales for all this time, having done what I've done for all this time, being, business to business, so on and so forth, I've been the closer on the other side, right? I've been the person that they phone a friend in and they're like, could we give them a better deal? And so to be honest, my approach to that was, listen, I know the mumbo jumbo, a friend of ours already signed up. We're in. We don't need you to glorify what the property does or anything else. Get to the point. Tell us how much we're going to spend. Tell us what we're going to get. And he was great. I actually did a little bit of coaching with that gentleman while we were doing it, because he's like, we have a whole checklist. I said, skip the checklist, just get to the point, because I got a vacation to enjoy. It was great. It wasn't as direct and blunt like that, but in a friendly way, communicating, I let him know, like, hey, I don't need you to sweeten us up. I just need you to get to the point because the pool is calling my name. Other people want the bedazzle. Other people want you to, soften them up a little bit. They want you to ask different questions. They want to talk about them first. And to be honest, patience is a big part of communication, because when you're having these conversations, it's not enough just to talk about everything that I'm excited about with this company or all the things it's done for me. You really have to open the door for them to start speaking. And I'll tell you what, if you can get them talking, if you can get them sharing, you're going to learn so much about that person, and you're going to be able to utilize those things, okay, to help them, right? To help them. And you're just going to become a better person that connects and builds rapport with people while you practice this over and over and over again, right? And that's essentially what we do. Utilizing nonverbal skills. Nonverbal communication plays a huge role in conveying your message effectively, right? So pay attention to body language. Again, okay? And you guys, Tuesday nights and all the Zooms, we're watching y'all. So if you're sitting here in bed like, and we know you're watching TV, it's not enough to be on, because you are not absorbing anything. You are not actively communicating with us. A part of communication is listening and paying attention. And so pay attention to their body language, their facial expressions, their gestures, excuse me. And sometimes, again, it's not all of those things that show you if someone's paying attention. Sometimes people just really sit with a blank stare until the end, and then they're like, let me see that patch. And the same thing happens during the demos. Sometimes people truly, like, you'll get through the whole demo and you push them down, you prove the point, they have more range of motion, they have all the strength, and then all of a sudden, like, you're like, and what do you think? Because they haven't shown any sign of any expression, and then all of a sudden they're like, I'm just in shock. And so sometimes it's not boredom, it's just shock, and you have to practice to learn how to decipher between the two, right? But nonverbal cues also establish trust, right? It conveys authenticity, a positive impression on them. Like when you're doing things like, okay, that's all. I'm sorry, I'm your hype girl. I'm in the Zoom, like, you can't hear me, but I'm like, woo, even if there's no sound coming out. Sometimes my kids come in thinking I'm done. It's a party in here. I'm still on Zoom because I'm cheering. I want you to know I'm paying attention. I'm absorbing. I'm saying, preach. Yes. Amen. Say it again. Say it louder. I'm texting in the comments. I'm doing all the things. That's how on a Zoom, I'm showing you I'm paying attention to you. I'm gathering what you're saying to me, but then I go out and I utilize that stuff too. So I'll go out on a post if I've heard it on a Zoom, and I'll put something about leadership or something I've learned. So, I've taken what you've said, I've consumed it, and now I'm using it, right? But again, being able to maintain that open welcoming posture, the eye contact, using different hand gestures. Guys, I'm Italian, so you get it all, okay? So my hands are always moving. I talk with my hands, right? And sometimes it's good though. It helps me I like to be animated. I am a very animated person. So when I'm having conversations, I'm like, listen to me. You've got to hear it. This is what we're doing. This patch on my arm, and I'm talking, and I'm using every ability I have to figure out how they're going to communicate back with me. And once they show me a little bit, then I kind of pull back the chaos if I'm too much to them, and I match them where they're at. But the faster you can get them talking in a conversation, especially if you're asking open-ended questions, so they're not just like, yeah, no, maybe, I don't know. You're giving them questions like, oh yeah, how many grandchildren do you have? Oh, I've got 5. Oh, what are their names? What do they do? Where do you like to take them? What do you like? All the things. It's important that you ask them questions so they open up for you. But that nonverbal communication, that I'm listening to you, you have my attention, you're worthy of my attention, yeah, I'm not going to disrespect you, I'm here, right? And I just that's something you got to make sure you incorporate. So, and then cultivating empathy and emotional intelligence, right? Like, it's not enough to be like, well, listen, if you're not going to try the patch, you're just going to be in pain. So, okay, like, that's not what we're doing here. That's not, we need to understand why they're so afraid to try that patch. Why, right? Like, you know what I see on the TV or on ads, and I don't really watch a whole lot of TV, but I see them constantly pop up about pharma. And all of them are like, yes, live a brighter light with having this less pain and blah, blah, blah. This will cause. And I was like, I would rather have the pain than die. I don't understand. And the problem is people are so used to having all of these extra symptoms and side effects that come with things that promise relief, right? That our job is easy, but it's hard at the same time, because it's not about the fact that our technology works. It's about building the trust in what we have here and us as human beings as we offer it. Doctors and people of a professional statue, right? Like, they come to you and they prescribe something to you, and you trust them because they've built and earned that trust within that patient, right? Well, it's your job to earn trust as you're going through, and some of the ways to do that is by having empathy and emotional intelligence, because they're qualities when you're having conversations, but in general in life, right? Like, you should just genuinely care about what other people feel. So please do. Develop your ability to understand and connect with emotions and perspectives of others. You don't necessarily have to know what they've gone through or what they're going through. You just have to understand that what they're going through is tough, right? You don't need to hear their whole life story to grasp enough, and you don't have to have a matching story to relate with them. Sometimes they just need to have someone who listens to them. So you practice putting yourself in their shoes, and empathy is big, right? Like, just be able to have them, or just, excuse me, take a moment to really think about where they're coming from, especially if you're out there and you're speaking to people that are dealing with the most horrendous of things they've had to struggle with, right? It's important that even though we can't relate, we can try to understand, and never say things, especially if you don't understand, never say things like, I relate, I get it, I get it, I get it, you don't get it, you don't get it, right? Like, it's not enough. It's things like, I can't imagine how you've struggled. I can't imagine what you're going through, but I am here to, try to help you. I can't imagine this, you don't have to relate to them. Right? Active listening and responding with empathy and understanding is huge. Just demonstrating emotional intelligence creates a safe, supportive environment. Again, it fosters a relationship and it builds trust with them, so they feel more confident about sharing with you, what they're struggling with. And the reality is, you guys, I've been a personal trainer, I've been a wellness coach, I've been in the beauty industry, I've done health and wellness, there's a bunch of other things I've done. And the number one thing that always allows me to have an edge is literally the fact that I genuinely care. I just care about people. And when I'm talking to them, I'm like, tell me more about what you're struggling with. And then I offer support or solution if that's what they're looking for, right? Like, so tell me, are you looking for a solution for your pain? Are you looking for a solution for your inability to sleep? For some reason, that's insomnia. Are you looking for a solution for the weight loss? Like, are those things, or do you just need like an ear, right? Do you just need a shoulder to listen to? Because I can be that for you too. And sometimes that's who you are for people long before they decide to ever join your organization as a customer or an associate. You're just an ear for people. And if you genuinely practice that and make that something that like is habitual, like you do this, right? You're going to build relationships with people that will support you to the very end. There's a reason that people follow top leaders, right? If they go from one place to the next or with what they have to teach, and it's because you've built a relationship that's based on trust and empathy. Like you care about where they're coming from. So, and then of course, never stop seeking feedback and always seek or strive to improve, right? So improving your communication skills, it's really an ongoing process. It's really something you have to practice. And the only way to practice it is by doing it. It's not enough to sit in front of your mirror and be like, well, my name's Krystle Greene and I got a video and my husband put the patch on me and we did this and we went like this and that happened. And now I decided to join Super Patch. No, you got to talk to people, you guys. You got to, practicing makes permanent. Practice makes permanent, right? And so improving your skills is not going to come from talking to yourself in the mirror. Improving your skills is going to come by talking to different people, not people that are just like yourself. It's get out there and talk to a diverse group of people so that you can learn how to adapt in different environments, number one. And two, so you know how to appropriately respond to situations, right? Like some people laugh about their issues. I laugh about my problems. I make a joke about my issues all the time, but it's not for you to make a joke about my issues. That's how I cope. But you won't know that unless we communicate, unless we effectively exchange that and you see, oh, wait, her putting up a joke about her illness is her way of coping. It's not my place to laugh about it. Now it's time for me to show her I'm listening to you. I hear you. I feel you. Right. So, seek feedback from people. Seek feedback from people you're talking to. If you build enough relationship with those people, you can say things like, did you think that I like effectively listened to you? Do you think that I helped you, or did I help you resolve a problem today? Reach out to your mentor, your leader, your sponsor, your team, your friends, all the way around, right? And just always ask for feedback. And the other thing is when you're getting feedback, you can't be like this. You got to be excited to hear it because feedback means you're growing. When you take that and you adapt and you grow and you can continue, it's build, measure, learn, right? We build something, we measure out how it's working, we learn from it, we start the process over. That's business. That's what it is. That's life as well. Communication is the same thing. If I start a conversation with you and it starts to go south, I'm going to say, you know what, Roxanne, I'm really sorry. This isn't how I intended this conversation to go. Let me explain myself, or let me try to resolve what we've done here. There's always ways to mend that. But again, the way to see that you're really truly growing, all of the things, is to ask questions, seek feedback, and not be afraid to improve. It's not about being better than someone else. It's about always becoming the best version of yourself. Right? So pay attention to areas where you can enhance your communication, such as, like we've talked about, the clarity side of things, active listening, adapting to different personalities, and then look for opportunities to grow further. Get into coaching sessions, get into YouTube videos where you can learn different things, watch some things where people go back and forth with discovery. And discovery is a huge part of communication. So I'm going to touch base on that in like 2 seconds, but truly, putting yourself in positions to have conversations is the best way to grow. I have not grown in my business because I put a post up. You guys, the growth in my business comes from what happens after that post, what happens after that initial communication, that initial interaction, right? That's where the building part comes from. But in order to establish that and start building a foundation of trust and communication and so on and so forth, I have to be willing to listen, right? So, again, genuinely be interested in others. Actively listen to them. Don't ask questions. Look, if you're not interested in talking to someone, you have no business in that conversation. I'll say it just like I'm going to just like that. Okay. If your interest is not in helping that person and it's solely an independent driven goal, like I'm going to bring people here, but I'm not going to plug them in. I'm not going to help them. I'm not going to connect them with the resources they need to be at. I'm just going to bring them here and I'm going to make that money because they came here. I promise you, you're just going to be left with that commission check, period. And they're never going to do anything else in this company or within the industry or anything, any circumstance, period, because you were personally driven for yourself. You know, when you're servant driven, when you lead to serve and to help people, not servant, like you're not a servant, right? Angel said this in Cabo, but when you lead to serve people, I mean, your heart is going to be a million times bigger, right? Uh, don't be inferior or superior to others. These are a few notes that I put down. Don't be inferior, meaning don't walk there afraid that all the mindset that you've put into your head, this misconception that they're better than you or they know more than you or they do. The reality is we excel in the areas we're in, right? Like I'm not a doctor. I'm not an architect. I'm not a landscaper. If I'm talking to someone about those things, I'm going to appreciate their knowledge, but it doesn't make me an inferior person, right? It just makes me less knowledgeable in their area. Equally so, I'm more knowledgeable in our area and what we do. And so I never want to make someone feel inferior to me either. We're equals, right? Like that's the biggest thing. Titles are just titles. People come in and they do different things and we all grow differently, but at the end of the day, we're equals. That's the biggest thing. That's the most important thing, is that we're equals. And then become an authentic storyteller. I talked about this earlier. Become an authentic storyteller, which means don't glamify your story. Don't try to make it bigger than it is. You're just going to feel like a fraud while you share it. That's why script texting doesn't always work, right? That's why when you send scripts in messages, it becomes really spammy and robot-like, because that's basically what it is. That was someone else's verbiage and it worked great for them to communicate their point to people, but it leaves not much room for you to authenticate that with who you are. And so it's okay to take something like that and develop your own, but make sure that when you're doing that, you're not sacrificing your passion, your core beliefs, your morals, and your authentic, genuine story. Okay. I mean, and you guys, we know what non-authentic storytelling is, right? Like the people that sell weight loss products and then like go get, I don't know, like their stomach cut out and then post a picture like, hey, I lost 100 pounds in 2 weeks with this product. That's unauthentic storytelling, right? Versus like, I've been struggling with my weight for a long time. I put on this Ignite patch and I lost like 3 pounds in a week, and I'll take it. I will take it. Okay. Be real with people, because when you're real with people, you set real expectations. Okay. Glamifying a story and saying things like, my pain was entirely away in 5 seconds. You're glamifying a story, because the reality is your pain probably wasn't entirely gone in 5 seconds. It gradually lessened for you and it felt great and you felt great. So your mood was great. But you don't need to embellish here, you know, and when you're an authentic storyteller, you can say a whole lot in 3 minutes while communicating with them and asking questions and laying out a foundation of that conversation as it happens. So listen and remember the small details as well. Like I said, ask questions and not yes or no questions. Ask questions that require them to answer with a sentence or a paragraph. And while they're answering, be quiet. Just be quiet. Listen, observe, watch their emotional expressions, watch their body language, watch what they're saying, listen to hear what they're saying, but watch how they're saying it. Okay. And that's why questions are so important, because it takes about 5 seconds. You know, you guys, if I can get someone talking for 1 to 2 minutes, our whole conversation is set for the next 10 minutes if I need it, right? When I'm having that conversation, and they're speaking about life and themselves and their struggles and who they are and what they've been looking for and all the pains and all the happiness and everything I can pull out of them in that moment, right? It's almost like detective skills, like everything I can pull out of them. Janie, you get it? It's almost like everything I can pull out of them in that moment to help them in our conversation, not to abuse it. You guys, there's a difference. I'm not going to use Ken's story against Ken. I'm going to use what he just told, utilize what he just told me to help him where I can. Not to become an expert in his issues, not to become an expert in solving everything for him, but to offer solutions where I'm able to. And sometimes that solution is just a friend. And you have to be comfortable knowing that. You have to sit comfortably knowing that not every interaction you have should or is going to turn out in a patch or a sale or a demo or an associate. Sometimes it's just about that relationship. And that person could be someone that never purchases from you, but sends 20 people to you because she loves you or they love you so much, right? Like I have people that literally support my business without actually being customers, truly. They share my videos. They get me invited to places. They tell their friends. They put us in three-way chats. These are people that I'm working on a couple of them. I'm like, come on, you could get paid, but it's not about that for them. It's about that fact that I built that trust with them. I built a relationship, a foundation with them, and they're comfortable and trust me enough to say this person can help you, right? Be okay with silence. So I told you silence earlier. I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes again when I talk about the demo. Stop interrupting when you ask questions. Stop interrupting when you think they're done. Let them gather their thoughts. Ask a question and be quiet. Okay? I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just kidding. But really, be okay with being quiet. Don't interrupt them. Make them feel heard, right? And if you do interrupt them, apologize. I do this all the time. I'm ADHD as heck, you guys. Okay? So I interrupt unintentionally all the time. And I'll just say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead. Okay? Because it's important for them to understand where I'm coming from. And I build that trust with them. So they know either I'm just really getting excited to tell you, like, I hear your pain. I hear it, but hold on. The solution's coming. Or I'm just, there's so much in my mind and I'm so emotionally attached to our conversation at the moment that I almost can't stop from pouring out. And so I catch myself and I say, I'm sorry, please continue. And I let them continue because it's important that they continue. It's important that the people you're talking to feel heard. Okay. And so yes. So these are some of the things I talked, like I said, I talked about. Now I want to leave like 2 minutes for questions real quick, just on communication. If there's like a question or two we can answer, and then we're going to talk about keeping it simple in the messenger and at the demo so that you're clear about what your intentions are so that you can progress that conversation further. So is there anybody that had any questions? Yes, ask questions, undivided attention. Yes. Okay, and thank you all for I was trying to get this off my screen. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for being here. I see you. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about the demonstration a little bit. Carrie, her, I don't know what you would call it. I can't think of the word, but demo. Daily execution means opportunity. Daily execution means opportunity. And Carrie spoke about this on stage in Florida, as she talked about, the demonstration being a key factor in what we do. That balanced mobility test is absolutely incredible. It's a way you can show this technology works right now, right? So no worries, Melody. So daily execution means opportunity. If you are not seizing opportunities every single day, not just within the demos, but to send out messages, to talk to your team, to plug in, to invite people to the opportunity, not just the opportunity call. It's not enough to say, please come to the Zoom. You have to follow through with that. You have to have communication. I never, and I will tell you, top leaders here as well will say, we never send an invitation to the Tuesday night call without having communication with that person first. I do not spam message people. There's a reason we have a password on there, and it's literally to get people plugged in that are supposed to be in that call right? It's not enough to put it on your personal page. It's not enough to send a text message, put up a flyer in your business. You need to have communication so people have expectations as to what they're about to view for the next 20 minutes, right? So make sure that you're doing that. Um, when you're having, let's talk text and messaging first, because that's going to be a quick one. Okay. Text and messaging is really easy here. Many of you have different approaches to what you do and how you engage in having conversations. One of the first things I do is I send that 6-minute video. And I know that there's a lot of leaders here that do the same thing. We really truly try to get them as much clear information as possible. And corporate's made that John Branca's video is awesome. You guys, it got me so pumped up when I saw that. But really, my communication with them is like this. And I know many other leaders are operating in this way too. And it's, hey, I've got something great that's happening here. I would love to share with you. Do you mind if I send you a quick video about what I'm doing over here? Okay. Now I allude every day. Mark just said in the comments, don't post on your personal page the Zoom link. Don't do that, you guys. I hardly say super patch on my personal profile. I want people to come to me and say, what is it that you're doing? So instead, I post things like little tidbits of me hosting a Zoom or being on stage, little tidbits of me being on vacation or with our team. I celebrate once in a while or throw out, key things like, hey, who struggles with pain, who struggles with stress, who can I help, who wants to try this little thing that I've been wearing. I do things, so they can see that I have the patch, but they have to come to me and ask. Now they could dig deep, they could find the answer. I've got my link in various videos and reels and things like that as well. Like they can find the answer, but if they want to really dive in at that moment, they're going to get into my inbox, send me a text, ask me to call them, comment on a post, so on and so forth. And I'm going to connect with them that way. And I'm saying it the way I'm saying it because, again, when I walk out of my house, I don't have a big old super patch sign on my shirt. I've got a patch on my arm. Okay. I've got a patch on my ankle. I'm wearing the technology. That's the same thing as if I'm on my Facebook, which is my storefront, by the way. I say personal page. You guys, Facebook is a business. Facebook is my business. Okay. And I just have 140,000 people on there that just collect a lot of free value, come in for the freebies. And a lot of them decide I'm going to come in and be a customer or an associate. I want to join what they're doing. But really, it's just a storefront. My body, me, as I walk out of my house, I am a storefront for my business. When I walk and I leave out of here, I communicate by having a patch on my arm that literally invites people to come and ask me, hey, what's that? Okay. And again, I don't have a big old tattoo that says super patch. I'm going to tell them. And then I'm going to start a conversation. And I'm not going to start the conversation with, well, I actually decided to build a team here at this company and I do this. No, I'm going to practice authentic storytelling. I'm going to say, well, I would love to tell you about this. My name's Krystle and I've struggled for a long time with my health, and my health is causing me to have balance and strength issues, as well as, have to use a walker throughout, a few years. It caused me pain and anxiety. And I'm going to get really, I'm going to get as emotional as I can, not like crying, but like attached to my story because I am. Why? Because it's mine. It's my story. So I can authentically tell it because I don't have to make anything up. And I don't have to worry about a rebuttal because it's my story. You can't break what I know is real, And so make sure that, you're not getting out there and you're not posting just all the patch information. But back to the messages. Thank you. So when you're getting into the messenger and you're talking to people, please be invited into that messenger or have a relationship with them prior. Do not send mass text messages today asking people if you can show them the video. Okay, 9 times out of 10, they're going to block you and they're going to call you a spammer. We're not spam artists here. Okay, like we are literally, we're just offering opportunities to the people that are open to seeing it, right? And sometimes the communication part is how you help people become open to seeing it. But truly, my go-to is get into that inbox, right? So I'll post something that says, who's interested in trying my patch that's helped me with stress? It's drug-free. Who wants to try it out for 2 weeks? Why do I say 2 weeks? Did I say I'm giving away anything free, by the way? I didn't. I say 2 weeks because our test studies are based on 14-day test trials. Okay, so I'm already setting them up to understand that in order to tell me that this product doesn't work or this technology didn't work for you, you got to wear it for those 14 days. And as long as they wear it for those 14 days, guess what? It's going to work. It's going to work way sooner than that 14 days. But sometimes what the body says, the mind won't listen to. Right. And so I could have amazing success just like I did back in April, right? April 7th was the first time I tried the demonstration and I still was shocked. And later I was still questioning it. A month later, I was still questioning it. I was taking the patch off. I was taking it to my doctors. I was putting it on other people. And I had to keep doing that to tell my brain, hey, it's happening, you know? And so if you're getting into in order to get them in the inbox, you know, if you're doing things that cause them to want to interact with you, you know, and there's ways to word that, and we can focus a whole nother Zoom just on like interactive post and how you engage people and what to do once they respond, or even in person, how you engage someone when they come up to you and ask you about the patch, because there are many of us on here right now that actually cannot even use social media right now to build. And so it's important we know how to do both. Right. It's important that we engage, or excuse me, not engage. We combine a little of the old school with the new school. You know what I mean? So that we can effectively adapt in every environment, every opportunity. When I get into that messenger, I'm telling them, you know, I send voice clips. It's important for them to hear my tone. I hate text messages. I'm going to tell you now, I know that I know that I have to text sometimes and it has to be that way, and that's okay. But the voice clip is the best way for me to hear them. The voice clip is the best way for them to hear me and hear that I'm not just another spam artist out there. I'm not just someone that's like in network marketing just to build my income. I'm here to make a difference, and they need to hear that. And they will hear that through how authentically you share your story. You know, the ways I get people into Messenger is I do a lot of algorithm boosting. You know, I do something called Bless 5. Bless 5 just basically means, and I've been teaching it to like my strategy clients, but Bless 5 is literally no gain for you necessarily, right? There's so much gain though. I shouldn't have said no gain. 5 messages a day. And all you're doing is you're going out and you're finding, either you're coming up with your own, and if you're not confident enough to come up with something that's empowering or you know, uplifts people on your own, then Google it, right? Empowering message, uplifting meme, quote, whatever it is. And then we take that and we send it to 5 individuals every single day. And there's no rhyme or reason. You can go down your friends list if you want, or you can go down your contact list if you want. But really what we're doing is we're going out and we're reminding 5 people today that may not, and let the spirit lead you to this, because that's why I call it Bless 5. Like I don't have a rhyme or reason. Whoever like I see on my screen that God's like, there it is. Like that's who I message. Okay. And I send them a message to uplift them today. And what happens during that message, especially if it's on Facebook or social media in general, me sending that message actually opens my algorithm as well. And it helps to boost my algorithm because I'm posting on someone else's wall. And then people are sharing that or like interacting with it and so forth. But then it makes a bigger impact on just the world in itself, because we're like loving on other people and helping them, you know, like helping them feel uplifted in that day. So it's just like a whole full circle. Otherwise, I teach the blimp system, and that's on our onboarding milkshake link. Go in and check that out. I've written it all out. And if you have specific questions on that, then that is, yes, do that. And so if you have specific questions on that, sorry, I read the comments and I shouldn't have, then just let me know. And then I can kind of break it down for you as well. But really, once you get into that messenger, it's not about pushing the sale more so than it is learning that person, having a relationship with them, getting on a phone call. You guys utilize different ways to communicate. Stop leaving it at the comments. Stop leaving it at the messenger. The comment should lead to the messenger. The messenger should lead to a FaceTime or to a 3-way call. Really, it should. And then at that point, when you're at that 3-way call, at that point, you've made it very clear to them who's getting on the phone or that 3-way chat, right? You're making it very clear. This is my leader. This is someone that's in the industry. This is my upline. This is my sideline. This is whoever. They're going to help share a little bit about their testimony and help me explain a little bit about the technology here or the opportunity here or whatever it is. You have to be clear in what you're doing, right? Same thing goes with in person. I'm going to make this somewhat quick. I'm sorry. I'm kind of rambling, but same thing goes with in person. I had a coaching call the other day, and what we came at the end of it, and the reason we came to this is because we communicated. We asked questions, we spoke, we shared back and forth. I listened, I observed all the things, right? And what it really came down to was I do all these demos, but I'm not getting any sales. I do all these demos and I'm not getting people to join. What am I doing wrong? Okay. And the reality of what came to that was it wasn't clear through that demonstration that you weren't just making a TikTok video. It wasn't clear through that demonstration that your intention truly is to help people, that we have a technology to sell, right? And that we have an opportunity that they can join. Okay. And so there's ways to go through that demonstration, actively communicating with them, implanting certain seeds during that time. You guys, and that can come off really weird. I see a few of you like, what does she mean? I'm going to explain it in a second. Okay. But during that process of the demonstration, by the time you get to the end, you should just be listening to their questions because you've already answered so many. Okay. And it happened in a minute. Okay. So depending on the environment, now I never go out to run my business. I never, unless I'm planned and scheduled at an event or at a meeting or, so on and so forth. I'm not going to target people. Like I'm not going to Target looking for the person with the limp, right? Like I'm going to Target to shop. And if I'm led during that time where my spirit says, hey, that person needs a patch, you need to talk to them, I'm going to have that communication, but it's not going to go, excuse me, I have a patch I want to put on you. It's not going to start that conversation. Yeah, I leave out a lot of testimony, Dee Dee. I'll answer that in a second. And so instead it's like, hi, I don't mean to be invasive with you, but my name's Krystle. I've been disabled for years. I used to walk just like you do. And I've been wearing this patch, and don't worry, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to push anything on you, but I saw you walking and I just wanted to offer relief for you today. Okay. Or whatever the icebreaker you use to get to that next step. Right. And then the conversation at that point, even you're exchanging information, like I've got 5 kids, who are you, enough of the information, and the conversation's going to differ depending on where you are. So I'm not going to try to formulate a whole conversation based on that. We're going to get to the point of where I'm talking about the patch now. Okay. So I've done enough discovery. Why are you at the store? What are you shopping for? Oh, milk. Cool. I like milk, whatever. Okay. You've had that little bit of banter back and forth where you're having communication. And then when I start to talk about the patches, I start to talk about, I said, well, listen, a friend of mine back in April shared a video with me. And I know it sounds crazy because I would have never ever purchased off of YouTube, right? And so what I ended up doing is I kind of went down this rabbit trail of looking through videos, and I saw that some people had better balance, better mobility. I pick out what's going to help them as well. So if I see they're stressed the heck out in the store, I'm talking about anxiety. I'm talking about the peace patch. I'm not talking about liberty. Okay. And honestly, I sometimes don't even do the Liberty demo at that point. I'll just give them a peace patch and hang out for 10 minutes, And so I start to talk to them about those things, and I say, well, my husband put the patch on, and we did this demonstration first, and I break it down, and then I say, you know what? Let me just show you, right? And as I'm showing them, I'm having a conversation. I don't record every demo I do. We love that you record demos. We want to utilize those because that helps us to build a digital platform, right? Like it helps us to build a digital breadcrumb to show that the patches, the technology works. But not every single demo has to be recorded, you guys. Like make it personal for people. And so if you're missing out on a lot of sales or people converting or people letting you demo, and it's because you're asking to record, then change the way you're doing it. Because it's not so much about the recording as it is about that interaction right there. Okay. That's the number one thing, is their experience, not what we get after to go, we saw the same thing on 30,000 videos, like it's great because we want people to see them. I'm not telling you not to record any. but listen to the environment, pay attention to your surroundings, actively communicate to know if it's appropriate for you to say, I'm going to record, right? And during the process, when I tell them like, listen, I didn't think this was going to work. So you're going to put your hands up just like this. Okay. And how it works is it just touches your skin. I'm explaining what the patch does during the demonstration. Okay. I'm explaining what the technology is and some of my experience. And sometimes I don't go right to here. I'll put the patch on and I'll be like, yeah, so I'll share something else with them, or if they're talking to me during, and then we do the demonstration, we show them, whoa, ooh, ah, and then I shut up for a second. And I let them express how they're feeling, because it could take them 30 seconds to go, oh, I'm not weird. I'm feeling a tingling. Oh, weird. I had ringing. Oh, weird. I feel like I'm standing up. This is strange. What is this? Sometimes it takes them a few seconds to let all the neurons, we put the Liberty patch on, give them a couple seconds for it to work, right? And then I say, then I start talking and say, yeah, so you can imagine how many people this could help, right? Who do you know that struggles with balance or like sleep problems? Like everyone, right? And now I've asked them an open-ended question. I try not to say right? So I try not to say right? Oh, goodness. I asked them an open-ended question. Who do you know that struggles with pain? Bloop. Okay, everyone. Who do you know? Are you at the gym? How many of your guys will put this on right now and see who can deadlift the most? Who's going to do it? There's different ways to engage them, right? What would life be like if your kid would have a peace patch on? Pretty chill, right? Like find ways to engage their brain so that they're not thinking about you and they're not thinking about them, but they're thinking about everyone else. This technology can help. Your goal is not to prove only that it works for them. Your goal is to unlock their brain, their mindset to say, ooh, my mother could use this. My father-in-law could use this. My friend could use this. My sister can use this. My kids could all use this. I'm going to use this. And just start letting it go, because the next step is so clear. Well, it sounds like you have a lot of people in your family or in your circle that are going to use this. So really the next step is just to get you a few ordered. They take a few days to get to you. We've got a couple kits that could help you. And then I start sharing what the membership kits are. And I share the two. $9.95 and $6.50, and I stop and I shut up. I'm sorry, that's a weird way to say it, but I do. I be quiet because I'm not judging their ability. I used to sell vacuum cleaners to people in houses I would never assume could afford a $1,900 vacuum, and that's why I left, because they were $1,900 vacuums. But I used to do it, and I would be quiet because I don't know what their checkbook is. I don't know what their drive is. I don't know if they have 5 people they're going to call to go in $200 each with. I don't know their story. I don't make assumptions when I have no idea. Oh, Mark, we would battle. I was filter queen. He said Electrolux. Listen, we don't know what they're going to say. And so you present it to them and then you get comfortable with being silent. And you're quiet for a few minutes. Not minutes. It's not going to take minutes, you guys. If it goes over a minute, then say something. Say something, what are your thoughts? Okay. Is this something you want to do today? No, that's not a statement you're asking. Is this something you want to do today? No, you're not asking, because the answer is no, thank you. I can't. Instead, does that sound like, sorry, I just said it and it's just lost me, right? But like, how's that sound to you? How's that sound to you? If they're like, wow, that's a little bit much. Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. Listen, we've got a smaller package and let me tell you about it. And let me tell you what you get with this. Okay. So what you're going to get is you actually get $75 in free product. You're getting a whole bunch. My goal, my job is not to know everything that belongs in that kit. I promise you, I don't. I have the comp plan here and it is here, and I know enough to get me through to where I need to go. I'm always looking, promotion ahead. I know that, but I don't have it memorized because I don't need to. I'm a person, I'm human. Okay. My job is to share the opportunity. My job is to put all the details on the table for you and connect you with the resources you need to get to the next point. Excuse me. I tried to mute, it didn't work. My goal is solely to get to the point. But if I don't take the time to clarify that what I'm doing here is I help people. When I have conversations with people, I tell them I had no intention on sharing this, but after the impact it made for me, I've personally put these patches on about 1,000 people. People are going, what? Now, what did I just say? I've put them on almost 1,000 people. Even 10, even 100. It doesn't matter. You've done this, right? And now when I've said that to them, I've justified what, number one, what I'm doing, but two, I've given them a piece of calm, like a peace of mind to know that, oh, you're not the only person in the world doing this. Okay, hold on. Let me learn some more. So I make it very clear that at the end of this, like there's a price tag, right? But there's so many benefits at the end as well. And so when it gets to the point of talking about that price tag, I'm not uncomfortable anymore because I know what we have to offer. And when I and really, truly, I'm going to tell you a secret. It doesn't matter to me what kit they come in with. It doesn't. Now, I want them to be set up for success, so I want them to get a kit. Great. Commission is amazing, but it'll be blessed back. Okay, so like I look at that and I don't focus on it because it's coming. I look at what's going to work for them, but I don't do them the disservice of assuming they can't afford a kit, of assuming they're not going to sign up, of assuming they're not interested or worthy enough of earning extra income. I don't pass judgment. I'm simply right to the point, right? But I make sure that they know I'm listening to you. I hear you. I see you. Could you imagine, Ken, what life would look like for you if you could walk that mile? If you could go back to walking your grandkids to school? Because now these are things that people share with you, right? These are things that people will unlock and unload on you if they feel comfortable with you. But if your goal is solely that sale, if your goal is solely that sign up, right? They're going to see right through you every single time. So get comfortable with offering the opportunity, the technology in a way that just flows with what you say, and pay attention to the actions you're making. Again, we're talking all about action right now, right? Take the action. That action step is for you to communicate with them, but the action in itself, and don't focus on that outcome. Because in reality, we're going to get a whole lot of no's and the percentage of yeses, right? It's the 80-20 rule, right? And so that means you got to get comfortable practicing what you're saying and feeling authentic about it and being real with people you're having conversations with, because that 80% can turn into the 20%. Not everyone that starts in network marketing is a network marketer, but guess what? A lot of people that start network marketing become network marketers. Not everyone that starts in this company is going to start out knowing what to do as a leader, but everyone that starts in this company has the ability to become a leader. You just have to take that action. You just have to take the steps. Okay, I'm going to go to the comments and read a little bit here. Elevator conversation. Or no, let me go back to Dee Dee. Are there parts of your testimony you have to leave out? For example, by bladder emptying problem, I had 29 years, went away on the Liberty, on the Liberty patch. I was also able to eat outside for 2 hours with my allergies present. And then the wind blows without tearing up, wheezing, grabbing, so on and so forth. Okay. Okay. You don't need to, first of all, like your testimony is your testimony. Okay. But it's very important that we're universal in how we share what the patches can do, right? And so each patch has specifically what it's intended to do on the packaging. The website states what they do. Those are the symptoms we should be talking about. So yes, in a sense, you want to customize your testimony where it fits to meet what those patches specifically do. Now, I have nerve pain, bone pain, fibro pain, MS pain, so on and so forth pain. I don't need to say I have nerve pain, bone pain, MS pain, fibro pain. I just need to say I have pain. Okay. I didn't sleep well before because bladder, balance, issues, pain, da 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 da. Really, the reality is I didn't sleep before. Okay. My bladder is better because of the Ignite patch. Now, this is something you could say on a phone call, Dee Dee. You could say something along the lines of, it's actually, and I say this sometimes, you guys, okay? I say things like, It's actually intended and advertised as something that will help you burn up to 25% more calories, which is absolutely amazing. But I actually found after wearing it, like I have less bladder issues. It's weird. You know, like I make it about me at that moment because then I'm not claiming that the patch will do that for everyone. Because each symptom is a side effect of something different. We don't know what's causing that. That's why we can't possibly claim to eliminate all pain, help every single person on the level that each person sees benefits from, right? It's just about what that patch is intended to do. Everything else is a happy blessing. Everything else is just additional stuff that your body's going, oh yeah, I remember now. Okay, so we are getting past, thank you, Mark, for coming on. We are getting past our time frame. I'm going to go in here. So I'm not telling you not to share your technology. Or your testimony, excuse me. I'm just saying that, you know, we want to be 100% across the board. It's not marketed as it does that, so it shouldn't be our primary focus, Dee Dee. But when you build relationships with people and you have that like open conversation with them, then most definitely do that. And feel welcome to share your testimony in that way. But again, you know, the best way moving forward is just that we don't live on our issues. There's a lot of issues I have. People don't need to know necessarily what I go through, but they will because of how consistent I've been with sharing my journey. That's not to say that on another post or in another conversation, or if they ask me, I can't say what I struggle with. It's just to say that I'm not going to highlight the disease and rather the symptom that we can help with. Because if I say MS, 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 this already happens, you guys. I love you all, but I get messages every week of people like, hey, this person has MS, they need to talk to you. I'm like, hold on, focus on their symptoms. What are they struggling with? Because not all of us are the same, right? My MS is my MS for a reason because I struggle with a series of symptoms. And chronically speaking, when people, and this is what we struggle with, and I know I'm going above, but so if you have to go, that's fine. But chronically speaking, like, all the issues all of us are dealing with, there's just like a category of like symptoms. Okay, it's just symptoms piled on symptoms, and each disease a little different. And if we focus on the disease, then it takes away from the people that are struggling with pain that don't have MS. It takes away from the people that are struggling to sleep that don't have MS. It takes away the people that are struggling with anxiety or stress that don't have MS. So when I don't put a disease to my symptom, to the benefit that we can help, it opens the door for a million other opportunities. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Okay, so elevator conversation. Yes, I agree. Mark put in here that you should be able to share your testimony in 90 seconds. Yeah, you guys, a quick, here it is. This is what I'm doing, 3 minutes, right? But after that, that's where communication comes in play, where they're asking you questions. You give them enough information to start asking questions. Once they start asking questions, they're sold. They're golden. Just listen to them and answer their questions. Okay. Big thing to know. What do I say in voice clips? I have shared what I said in voice clips. I think it's somewhere in Miracle Moments, or sorry, we're in Miracle Moments, somewhere in Miracle Workers in the group. I shared somewhere, so I can try to find it again, or if you want to kind of Google, or not Google, but Facebook search it. I put something like, I got like 100 new people in my inbox, and this is what I sent to them, and I shared it on a video just like this. I actually think it's up somewhere, but I have skewed a little bit from that. Actually, this whole compliance thing has empowered me to step out of my disease a little bit more. I'm so much more than MS or POTS or seizures or anything else, you guys. Like, I'm so much more than that. It's held. Thank you. Thank you. You don't have to worry. You're good. Thank you. And this compliance stuff has really helped me step out of that. This compliance stuff has really allowed me to be like, you know what? I don't need to focus on that. And I really am limiting the people I'm talking to when they think, hey, she's just using it because it's an MS patch or it's this or that. And so I actually appreciate the fact that we're doing that. And communication, again, communication goes a long way. And I actually really appreciate that corporate's done a lot for us recently as far as communication. I love the stuff Carrie and Steve just put together for people who just recently joined and how to get to director. We've got people that are like massively building based on just those two just those three, actually, the John Branca's video as well. And all they're doing is just inviting people to hear about it, and then they're sharing their testimony, their stories. So, okay, we're just about 10:15. I appreciate you guys. I know this was a little bit, I always say a little bit all over the place, and then I go back and watch it, and I'm like, hey, that was all right. I am not sure what our topics will be next week, but I encourage you all to plug in wherever you can, to continue to grow and to ask questions. And I'll put this up in Miracle Moments like I did the other day. I think I'm just going to post them in there and not on YouTube right now. So we'll have a link to share. And if you're not in that group, please try to get into that group. If you can't be in that group because you don't have a Facebook or something like that, then talk to your leader and they'll get a hold of me, and I'll give them the link with the password to share to you. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Congratulations to everyone that continues to show up for their business every single day. And yeah, that's all I got. So